Howdy, howdy, y'all. It is another Maharaj video. This is chapter 30. You are free now. So, I like that title. First of all, good, yeah, very good title. Um, really, with this chapter, it's another example with Maharaj how I feel like what he's really good at doing. He's very good at being like that. That's just that wise dude who just tells you that thing you need to hear when you're talking to him. Whatever, like he's very good at helping. Yeah, because really all these conversations, every single one of them, what a lot of times what he's doing is the person has some sort of like delusion essentially they're going through, and he's just trying to let them. And he's letting these people know, like, yeah, this is a delusion. Like, what your issues are from your mind. You are the source of these issues, and you are the source. In fact, not only are you the source of those issues, you're the source of the solution, and you're pretty much the source of everything, of all of the universe. I mean, and not in this like egotistical "I am God, I am Almighty" sort of way. No, but like just as you are one with the universe, there is a oneness. You are, you are that. I am. But anyways, but yeah, so like I said, this conversation is very. What happens essentially, the kind of the summary of it is that they go through a bit. At first, the questioner talks, asks about, what's your kind of theory. Maharaj goes through this thing of like, well, theories are just, these collection of words. There's a point he really says. I really like. I'll actually read. He says, your sincerity will guide you. Devotion to the goal of freedom and perfection will make you abandon all theories and systems and live by wisdom, intelligence, and active love. Theories may be good as starting points, but must be abandoned. The sooner, the better. Um, and then yeah, they just kind of then he talks. So essentially, it's then they go and then they after talking about like a yogi who talks talking about how that pure will is the most is the thing that'll bind it's the most important thing. And then they start talk about it's what's more. The questioner asks. This is another interesting point. The questioner asks, what is more powerful, desire or destiny? Maharaj, desire shapes destiny. The questioner, and destiny shapes desire. My desires are conditioned by heredity and circumstances, by opportunities and accidents, but what we call destiny. Maharaj, yes, you may say so. Questioner, at what point am I free to desire what I want to desire? Maharaj, you are free now. What is that you want to desire? Desire it. Questioner, of course I am free to desire, but I am not free to act on my desire. Other urges will lead me astray. My desire is not strong enough. Even if it has my approval, other desires which I approve of are stronger. Maharaj, maybe you are deceiving yourself. Maybe you are giving expression to your real desires, and the ones you approve of are kept on the surface for the sake of respectability. So, like, I do like that because that is like when someone says something like that to you, it's like maybe you're fooling yourself here. Like it's always it's always is a way of getting because like I said, he's very good at, like I said, just cutting through BS, and it's like and I mean this is a good example of that. And and like I said, I did like this chapter though. It's still a good chapter. I like the idea of it. It's something I'm kind of going through personally. I think right now too is trying that realization. Like I am free right now. I definitely have had that feeling of I need to get to that next step, that next level, that next stage. When it's like you are already there, and so I think certainly for me, that's probably part of it as well. It's just like it's just the actual like the realization of it and just the experience of it. Conceptually, I feel like I mean, I feel like I'm getting I understand it. It's just experiencing it more or experiencing it fully. I think I've experienced bits and pieces of this sort of stuff. That's why when Maharaj says a lot of this stuff, it doesn't. I guess it hits me in a sort of way where I'm just like, yeah, makes sense. Um, Even this, like for example, this quote that he has at the end um, of the chapter, and I think it's a really good description of just kind of the chapter and the conversation in general. Like the really what like the point of it, I should say, like conceptually. Um, Your true nature is beyond description. It cannot be known with mind, yet it exists. Your true state is ever existent. The mind is simply the collection of impressions that have been recorded since birth. It is occupied by thoughts, which are based on its predominant concept. Be the witness of thoughts. Catch hold of the knower of the mind. And I just, yeah, like I said, this whole, especially the idea of like the witness, and you are the witness. Like I said, I think I've talked about this in past videos, but especially, I think something about this concept just hits me. I feel like I've had these that sort of experiences of that awareness of that I think about, especially as a young age, and I just didn't know at the time that's what that was. I thought it was just some weird like I couldn't even explain it. It just all was like I would go through bits of like ego trips, thinking I'm like the most incredible person, and then I would also then go through the opposite, which is of like this utter like self hatred. But both as we know, I don't, that both of those extremes are caused by the same sort of ego driven, uh, mindset like that. I mean, obviously, all mindsets are technically ego-driven. Egos, blah blah blah. But you know what I mean, right? Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, enough of random tangents about that. Like I said, like this is a good chapter. I think that might end it on that quote. Um, actually, no. There's another portion of the conversation I'll read, like the last portion of the conversation. Um, So the questioner they ask, and when I realize that I am not the body, shall I be free from desire and fear? Maharaj, as long as there is a body and a mind to protect the body, attractions and repulsions will operate. They will be there, out in the field of events, but will not concern you. The focus, your attention will be elsewhere. You will not be distracted. Questioner, still, they will be there. Will one ever be completely free? Maharaj, you are completely free even now. What you call destiny, karma, is but result of your own will to live. How strong is this will you can judge by the universal horror of death. Questioner, people die willingly quite often. Maharaj, only when the alternative is worse than death. But such readiness to die flows from the same source as the will to live, a source deeper even than life itself. To be a living being is not the ultimate state. There is something beyond, which more wonderful, which is neither being nor non-being, neither living nor non-living. It is a state of pure awareness, beyond the limitations of space and time. Once the illusion that the body mind is one self is abandoned, death loses its terror. It becomes part of living. And that's that state. I definitely I want to reach that myself. I think definitely a very noble state to reach. And on that note, I think we'll call it good. Yeah, I think that's probably what was probably my favorite portion, especially that last that last portion, especially when he goes about um, that to be a living being is not the ultimate state. There's something beyond, much more wonderful, which is neither being nor non-being, neither living nor non-living. It's a state of pure awareness beyond limitations of space and time. Like, Yeah, I just like this whole paragraph. Yeah, it's like a paragraph. I love it. It's a good quote. Even though it's not like the, although the quote in here is good too. Like it's all good. It's all beautiful. I love it. Like say, if you haven't noticed, like I said, I highly recommend this book. It's a very good book. I love it. Anyways, that's enough of that. Hope you all have a good one. Peace.